Hello everybody, Abbott's brother here, and today we're going to take a look at one of the least optimized, least effective, and otherwise generally regarded as one of the worst OpenGL ports of games to Linux. This is the Deus Ex Mankind Divided native port. And I'm going to say right off the bat, this is just kind of a curiosity type of video because Deus Ex Mankind Divided actually does run just fine with Proton, but there is a Linux port of it. And it is sometimes a question in the forums that I've seen is like, well, how does the native version run? The native version runs a lot worse than Proton, but today we're going to see just how good or bad, probably bad, that is going to be. Now, to get this game running, it is installed on an SSD. I'm using Legacy Runtime 1.0 in the compatibility, and you have to use this command, and I'll put this in the description if you're curious what it is. Game mode run Mango HUD, and that's about it. The only outright problem aside from that I discovered was that trying to launch the game with anything higher than medium textures just produced endless loading. And it says unsupported Linux distribution or version. I'm running the latest Arch. This is December 2024. I'm running whatever the latest Arch is at the time, and I'm running the KDE Wayland desktop on a Radeon 5950X and an RTX 4070 Ti Super, and the Nvidia driver is 565.77. So it does load up. There are a couple bugs, visual bugs that I've noticed. The biggest one is related to lighting. It's kind of weird. It might be ambient occlusion that's causing the problem. So it's max settings, but with medium textures. And you can see there's like a glow right here in the middle of the screen. That should not be there. I can tell you that right now. So 3440, 1440. MSAA is off, so don't think that is known to be a major impact on frame rate. So there is no impact from MSAA here because that is turned off. And so medium textures, but everything else, well, motion blur's off, but everything else is. Motion blur have something extra? Oh, there is additional motion blur. We'll turn that on too. I mean, depth of field, excuse me. And volumetric lighting. Oh, volumetric lighting has an ultra. Okay, yeah, we'll just turn everything up. Sharpen produces some artifacts. I don't like that. So, okay, so that's maxed. And in the menu, and this is a 3D rendered scene. This is not a static image. Yeah, let's run the benchmark, I guess. I don't anticipate having this version installed too many times. Now, the thing to know about OpenGL, because this is OpenGL, this is not Vulkan, there was talk that Feral Interactive was going to do a Vulkan version of this, the way they did a Vulkan version of Mad Max and Shadow of Mordor. But as far as I know, they did not. There is no beta I can click on. There's nothing. It's just the OpenGL version. And the key with OpenGL is single core speed. Now, obviously, I'm running a Ryzen 9 5950X, and I think it's got 64 megabytes of level 3 cache. It's not 3DV cache, but it does have a lot of L3 cache. And its single core speed is pretty good. Not as good as an X3D, obviously. But if you have an X3D chip, you'll probably be able to push this even further. As you can see, the 4070 Ti Super is not maxed out. It is being CPU bottlenecked right now. And that is because of OpenGL. OpenGL is very single-threaded. So if you've got only a couple of CPU cores, but they're screaming high, we've got a screaming high overclock on them, and you've got really good single core performance, you will probably be able to load load up your GPU better than I can on this. And as you can see, we're dipping a bit. There are things we can do, basically anything you can do to optimize the workflow, task flow, whatever, for OpenGL in that, to make that single-threaded process go a little faster. You'll get higher FPS, and that's really the key to OpenGL. And that's obviously with older games, that's why older games with OpenGL ports tend to work a little bit better, because you know, older games don't have quite as many tasks or handle them in quite the same way. They don't thread them quite the same way. Let's see if I can do this here. Oh yeah, see, there's no light there on the right of the screen. So why did that suddenly appear? And it's gone. And it's back. I don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah, see? And on the left, no light, light, no light, light. Why is that there? I have no idea. So in a minute, I'm just gonna run around a little bit and experiment with turning some settings down to try to improve the frame rate. But this issue with lighting is and you can see I got the yeah, like what the heck was that? Oh, that was from the train that went by outside. As you can see, I've got a bit of a lens flare on the screen and no obvious light source. So there are some issues here. So max settings, medium textures. With my CPU setup, you know, I'm getting 70s, low 80s, and I think there's a place where it drops to the upper 40s. Again, if you should just use Proton given the chance. This is a cursory look at this. This was about if you have Mankind Divided already installed on your hard drive, this was a 12 gigabyte download. This was not a wrapper. This is not a wrapper port like BioShock Infinite, which is like, or Witcher 2. Those ports are quote-unquote ports. They're actually just wrappers for the game. They're not. They're not a dedicated new set of code there. There was actually a significant download to get Mankind Divided's native port working. So obviously this is backdrop. That's why the frame rate goes way up when looking at it. And this is not, and that's why we're down to about, well, I saw 48 there a minute ago. We got some draw distance and we got a lot of objects on screen. And that's pretty typical. The port works fine. I did a session where I played like 3 hours on it. I didn't have any problems with it. The problem is entirely the frame rate. And yeah, because the 4070 is TI Super's not stressed, it's staying nice and cool, it's clocked all the way up. But this is definitely CPU bottleneck, so anything you can do, maybe you have you have 5800X3D, 7800, is it 7800X3D? Anything you can do to get, or 9800X3D, anything you can do to get more single core performance if for whatever reason you decide you want to play the native version. Single core speed is the key. And the saves are cross-compatible. This is my Windows save. It works just fine with the Linux version, so I didn't need to start a new save or anything. It looks like the most demanding place was when I was on that street looking down at the train station, so let's head back there. Yeah, here we are. There's the scene on the waterfront, there's the blades. Okay, this was the big spot. So now let's see what we can do. Graphics. So, shadow quality, contact hardening. Let's turn lens flares off. Let's turn bloom off. That's not, shouldn't help the frame rate, but maybe it'll clear up some of the lighting stuff. It looks like it did. Looks like it did, okay. Because the lighting stuff was really bothering me. Those are both gone. And volumetric lighting. I want to leave everything on I can leave on, but I'm going to I'm going to turn ambient occlusion down. Oh, I saw the change in the background. You can see it right there. I don't know if this shows up on YouTube, but you can see it right there. When I turn ambient occlusion down, it really reduces it. What else can we do? Adds additional depth to select surfaces. Turn that off. Looks like we got a frame or two. What if we turn ambient occlusion off? No, that didn't seem to do anything. I'm not turning TAA off at all. Not enable for, let's turn contact hardening off. Let's turn shadows down to medium. I'm not seeing any big improvement here to frame rate. It's just, oh, let's turn cloth physics. It's still hovering about 4851. See, this is the problem. On, if you were running, let's turn tessellation off. Turn screen space reflections off, even though these are all fact. You can see that right here at the top of the screen on that pyramid thing. Turn it off. Big change. It's going to be level of detail, I think. Yeah. Let's turn level of detail to medium. So we're up to, we were in the like 48 here, now we're up to about 55. And we can turn chromatic aberration off. I know a bunch of people hate that. Depth of field. Let's just turn that to on. Oh, depth of field added some stuff there. Okay, so we've gained some FPS. I would boost the shadows back up. Those shadows look bad to me. Let's push shadows. Well, let's push shadows all the way to ultra. What does that do? Now that was one of the FPS gains we got, was when we lowered shadows.
We'll take care of it.
So yeah, now we're in mid-50s instead of upper 40s on this scene. I mean, the game's playable like this, but when Proton is so much better, why would you do that? There's really no point to the OpenGL Linux port of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Just run it in Proton. That's gonna be the best way to play and experience this game on Linux. Hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.